We all have those times in our games where we literally are able to either nope or crash somebody that we're playing with, usually another player, but in this case, we're going to be talking about what's your funniest dungeonmaster.exe has crashed moment, part 4. And also, hey, if you have a moment you'd like to share, do so in the comments below or on our subreddit r/MrRipper. It was the beginning of a campaign. Our party of 3 began as strangers on a boat, traveling to a continent that only recently opened its borders to outsiders after a decade-long civil war. The first session went by without issue, but the seed of a mystery was planted. What could we expect to find on this continent that went radio silent to all outside countries for so long? And was there something or someone being smuggled on this ship? Session 2 had us exploring the cargo, and eventually we discovered that there was indeed a stowaway, and a dangerous one at that. There also seemed to be some unlogged cargo. One thing in particular was a chest. I forget the sequence of events, but eventually this led to a confrontation on the main deck, with the stowaway managing to escape via teleportation, and the chest that our paladin was holding to start making a ticking noise. Oh no, that's not good. Fearing that the chest was about to explode, the paladin immediately threw the chest overboard and into the ocean. Well, it turns out that the chest contained a magic artifact, and that artifact was the MacGuffin that was supposed to drive the whole plot forward. We hadn't even reached the continent and already completely derailed the whole story. Our DM just started laughing in horror and disbelief. Fortunately for everyone, our DM is a veteran from the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition days, so he rolled with it and found a way to keep the story going. That was a year ago, and we're still playing today. A couple weeks ago, I was playing as my warlock Lyra. We were dealing with these broken magical circles. Think of it like a blown transformer. These circles were part of a system that connected magical devices around the city and kept certain things working, trying to reconnect them and ensure the magic flowed correctly through the city. Well, we'd already fixed 2 of them, and were fighting an enemy who'd been consumed by a spirit of Lolth. Homebrew world, the gods are a little bit different than standard lore, and was trying to keep us from repairing the circle. Lyra, at this point, was done with this magical circle bullshit, and was equally done with the Lolth spirit. This spirit had been mind-fucking the party with visions of our worst fears, and offering us the opportunity to prevent them. Ooh. Lyra's vision took her to the past, to when she was married to the leader of the city they lived in, just before the other noble houses betrayed them, and killed most of the members of her house, except for her immediate family, of course. In the vision, her husband told her how much he loved her, and gave her an amulet of Auril, an amulet that had 1 charge of teleport in it, specifically to get her to safety. The problem was the spirit got things wrong. Lyra and her husband never loved each other. They never even consummated their marriage. It was all for political gain for both sides. And upon coming out of the vision, Lyra realized it was all false. She looked at the spirit, grabbed her amulet of Auril, and said, "I don't need your mind fuckery. I don't need this. All I need is her." She pointed to the cleric of the party as she tossed her own amulet of Auril away, renouncing her faith in the Frost Maiden while simultaneously declaring her love for the cleric, which, to this point, no one in the party had known about, including said cleric. Out of character, the cleric's player knew, but had no idea this was how Lyra was going to display it. The DM went silent for a good 15 seconds before pulling a JonTron "What the f?" moment, and ended the session early to contemplate what to do with my character, throwing away her amulet. To clarify, she's an Archfey warlock, so she wasn't throwing away her warlock powers, just renouncing her faith in Auril. That time, the Dragonborn fighter dragon-feared a green dragon into running away from us like a little bitch. Player decided to take a long rest in the middle of a space pirate fortress as an attempt to cure a disease that had no mechanical effect on their ability beyond having to have their character dance to spells and such, which was mostly just flavor. I'll just put it plain and simple. Mark of the Making Human Armor Artificer mixed with Soul Knife Rogue while placing expertise in Arcana. Made a whole lot of Arcana checks with scores of 30 or higher with that particular build. Let's just say my DM had the face of pure dread, confusion, and brokenness upon realizing he had to reveal the big bad evil guy was a demi-lich. Unfortunately for us players, he got his revenge with said demi-lich later in the campaign. We're playing an airship pirate-themed campaign. Earlier, our DM had established that the magic that controls airships is centered in a gem on the ship's wheel that the pilot needs to attune to. Fast forward a bit, to us getting ambushed by another ship full of goblins. We lose initiative and we're taking a beating. The bard is down from a nilbog using hideous laughter. My barbarian is pretty badly damaged before I even get a chance to activate rage. And I decided, well, guess I'd better finish this off fast then. I'm playing as a winged tiefling, so I'm able to fly across to the enemy ship, trigger rage, and then rip the wheel clean off the deck. I could hear the despair in the DM's voice when I pulled that off. But, to his credit, he rolled with it. Oh, dear Lord. Probably the session demuted GM. Implement the KC-BAT. System was Pathfinder. Oh, I love Pathfinder so much. One of my players loves finding and exploiting vagueness in the rules. So, he took a chaotic evil life oracle with, drumroll please, the legalistic curse, +4 morale to a single roll per day, the spell Moment of Greatness, if morale bonus, double it, and the summon monster line of spells. Summon a creature from a curated list. If SM2 or higher, can instead summon 1d3 creatures from the previous tier list. If SM3 or higher, can instead summon 1d4 + 1 monsters from a list 2 or more tiers back. So, say hello to Summon Monster 3, calling forth 1d4 + 9 bloody skeletons because Legalistics +4 didn't say it had to apply to a d20. And I didn't know how to say no to this at the time. Listen, don't mess with us summoners. We will do everything we can in order to fudge the system to create our army of darkness. In a campaign I ran, a player rolled a nat 20 to sleep with a female NPC. I was not, and still am not, able to slightly roleplay romance, and especially not, NSFW stuff. He helped me, and himself, by saying it was a dream because his character was a walking meme who got drunk on chicken eggs. Now, okay, look, explain that one. We need a whole thread just about drunk chicken egg things. Come on. When your players get up to the craziest of hijinks, the group actually acting normal for once can surprise you, and in my case, terrify the hell out of me. One of my players asked if he could punch a tree. That's it. For no discernible reason. It broke me. I had gotten so used to his shenanigans, and now he just wants to punch a tree. That's it. He didn't want to seduce the tree, he didn't want to strip it of all of its bark, ooh, wink wink, and convince the nearby blacksmith they were wood dragon scales. He just wanted to punch it. I blankly flipped through my notes for a full minute before telling him to roll an attack. Okay, to be fair, if we were DMing, we being the MrRipper crew, and one of my players pulled all the bark off a tree to convince the blacksmith they were wood dragon scales, I think that player acting normal would break me too. Listen, just hope they don't get any splinters. This one comes from Belfast-born nerd. Welcome. Our DM had the local black dragon send one of his half-dragon minions to our town to collect taxes, or else he would destroy the town with his half-dragon army. When I say taxes, I mean everything was taxed. Every blade of grass, every rock on the ground, every ant had a tax for it. It was some astronomical amount of gold that the town in its entirety had no way of paying. The point was to force a fight between our group and the dragon army for a cool assault-style combat the next game. Now, my elf ranger asked if they took goods instead of gold as payment, and the DM said sure, but it would have to pay off the debt or they wouldn't want it. DM forgot my elf had looted a legendary item from the last dungeon a few sessions back. The kind of item every dragon wants in its horde. He also forgot my elf was the kind of ranger who was very utilitarian, and had no problem dropping a fortune if it served her goals. Ooh, I like this elf, and I usually hate elves with a passion. My elf dropped it on the table in front of the half-dragon, and the DM had to take a dm.exe has crashed moment. Blue screen edition. Upon realizing I just paid enough to cover about 10 years of protection money and derailed his plans in one instant. The group erupted in laughter and cheering. One of my favorite moments in the game. Look, I really want to get to know this elf, and can they do my taxes, please? Playing a Pathfinder-based homebrew system. Ooh, why? Ooh, 2 in a row today? I'm so excited! The party is attacking a small bandit camp because their leader apparently stole some kind of a precious gem to a mage in a nearby town, and, well, she wants it back. After defeating a couple underlings, the bandit leader gets out of a cave further down the path in between trees. At this point, the quite beefy-looking 6'5" half-tiger humanoid rawr, wielding a giant combat walk, sprints towards the guy, weapon in hand, passing by the rest of the party and the tank. He gets in front of the bandit leader, literally 5 feet away, and decides to then sheath his weapon and engage in diplomacy. It took me a minute, but it got me just picturing this happen. After my brain rebooted, I had the bandit ignore the attempt to talk it out and stab him because he felt extremely threatened by a hairy Goliath rushing towards him with an oversized frying pan. The time when a party, now previous party due to the disbanding because of scheduling reasons, ended up creating the 300 goblins versus 300 zombies fight club arson incident. That just confuses and intrigues me. Our death domain Owlin cleric named Troy decided to enter a fighting tournament with our dragonborn paladin by the name of Seth Ricard. Oh no. Troy had an idea to raise the graves throughout the town to help rig the fights and make getting the prize easier. Well, our DM caught on to this abuse of animate / raise dead. I can't remember, we were level 6, and pit 300 goblins against them all, and the other combatants. One of the undead was a level 20. A level 20 undead wizard at that. Yeah, with the one-time cast of only one spell. During the chaos, a spell was finally used. Meteor shower. Oh yeah, that spell. Seth Ricard even took a severed goblin head and punted it so hard he blew up the pyramids and smashed the skulls of anyone he could find in the arena. 3/4 of the market district blew up. Part of the town and kingdom were decimated, and Silas and his patron goddess Nessia got PTSD just from watching it. So yeah, our DM dipped out with brain.exe crashing twice, and he never forgave us for, that whole debunkle. That sounds like an apocalypse waiting to happen, and I am so for it. Hey everyone, Brian Von VA here, back at it again, checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, to ring that bell, and to leave a comment down below. You can tell us a story or tell us your favorite dm.exe has crashed moment, anything. You can also do so on our subreddit, r/MrRipper. Now, if you want to come check out me, Brian Von VA, you can do so through my website, brianvonva.com, where you can find out where I stream, aka on Twitch, or where I just randomly shoot the shit on Twitter, all that kind of jazz. All my socials are in there, and then you get to learn a little bit more about me. That said, I try to end things on a positive note. Today's no different. I know the world sucks. I know sometimes you get your heart broken, like I did in the middle of June and ass end of June. And I want people to know that no matter what happens, you're going to have the strength to keep going forward. The world is ugly. The world is on fire. And I've said that a long time now, but it's true, and we got to acknowledge it. But you know what's not on fire? You. You have the power, the patience, the time to go forward. No matter what you're facing in your life, you're never alone. Even if you have no friends or family, you still have us here. The random people that love D&D, the nerds around the world that you've yet to meet. Because you never know, you might make a friend, you might make the love of your life through that. You might make a new business partner. We don't know. But all I know is that all of you listening in right now, you're worth it. And y'all are what got me through a lot of hardships throughout the past, 4 years that I've been working for MrRipper? So thank you. Thank you for all your love and indirect kindness and just for being here. And I hope that I can do the same for you and inspire you to be the best and brightest people that you can be. All the love. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.